welcome to A Whole New World fundraiser event for Mountain Crisis Services. Thank you all for being here tonight and for your support of Mountain Crisis Services. Without the support of our community, we would not be able to do what we do to support victims and survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. We also want to say a big thank you to our sponsors. Our largest sponsor, West America Bank, Merco Credit Union, Creekside Nursery, Walmart, Foster Ace Hardware, Gnarly Oaks Vacation Rentals, and Best Western Plus. Thank you all for your support and enjoy your evening.
Good evening. Thank you for attending the Mountain Crisis Services fundraiser, A Whole New World. The theme reflects the many changes that we've made in order to adapt to the challenges of the pandemic. This is our second consecutive year of conducting our fundraiser virtually due to the pandemic. My name is Kristen Feaster. I'm the Program Director for Mountain Crisis Services. I'm joined by Katie Wagner, our Program Specialist, and it is an honor to introduce Mariposa County Sheriff Jeremy Brees, who, as the head of an essential community asset with which we partner, will be answering some questions about the role of the Sheriff's Department in our partnership. Welcome, Jeremy.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're really excited. So I just had a few questions to ask you as we go through this fundraiser. And to kind of start it off, I really wanted to see how law enforcement and MCS really work together.
All right. So I've been here 20 years and I've always enjoyed our partnership with the Mountain Crisis Services. We have a long history of working together, and the main goal is for the safety and comfort of victims and the residents or visitors that need our services. So I would say, you know, our relationship from as long as I've been here has always been a positive relationship. We're always building on, you know, what we can do better and what we can do to help everyone out. So just a little tidbit of information. I think I did get a Take Back the Night award back when I was a deputy sheriff in 2001. So I'm proud that we continue our partnership.
Awesome.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you so much. So I wanted to ask, and as well as we go into this pandemic just a little bit further, how has law enforcement and Mountain Crisis Services worked together through this pandemic? Because I know we've had a lot of changes within policies and changes with how we, provide services for our clients.
So I would say the changes are always first based around safety of our employees, and then our safety of, you know, the clients that you're dealing with. But really, in the grand scheme of things, I would say the relationship really hasn't changed much. We just had to take some additional, you know, safety procedures to make sure that everybody's safe. So when it comes to providing services, you know, we can't effectively do our job without you being there to support us, and then vice versa with us to be able to support you.
Yeah, I agree. We definitely can't do our job without law enforcement. So, and we thank you so much for your patience during this time also.
Sure.
Yeah, it's been a challenging time, that's for sure. I know for us and for you guys. And so it's really awesome to know that we're still working together as a team and meeting the goals of our community members. One other question is, how does law enforcement and Mountain Crisis Services understand each other's roles? Because I know we have different roles within the community and we're very much different, but kind of the same. So how would you define that?
So I would say Mountain Crisis and the Sheriff's Office have very similar roles in the beginning, and that's, again, providing all the best services and the professional services to a client or a victim during a certain circumstance. But understanding each other's roles are important because during a time of crisis, it's extremely frustrating and can be confusing or scary. And having that smooth transition from our office, taking an initial call to then be able to provide the appropriate resources for that individual is how we can walk them through the process or the criminal justice system, you know, leaving the least amount of negative impact for whatever situation came around. So again, both of us together are accomplishing the goal. You know, one can't do it without the other effectively.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Absolutely, 100%. So one last question we'd like to ask before we kind of move on into our fundraiser is
Yes,
how is
later.
law enforcement,
I'm
how does
joking.
law enforcement depend on Mountain Crisis Services for support? And what does that look like?
So being dependent on Mountain Crisis, I mean, I maybe don't like that word, but because I think it's more of a partnership, of working together and for the specific cause. But we do depend on the resources for everything from advocating, walking through governmental paperwork, I guess you could call it, or the other portions is being able to be there and transport a person to services outside of the county, but also having that ability to start de-escalating the situation, because sometimes even though we are the good guys, it's traumatic and we have the uniforms and the stuff, and be able to get through that scary situation and then be able to transfer that to you guys, to take on the professional role of getting back through the recovery portion.
I'd like to thank you for making time for this event. It takes an entire community working together to stop domestic violence and sexual assault, and the Sheriff's Department plays a significant role in that endeavor. So I appreciate you so much. I appreciate your team over there. And again, thank you for making time for our fundraiser.
Yeah, and I appreciate this time together as well, and also to show that we are united. We work together for a good cause, and that's the protection and safety. And as long as I'm here in this seat, you'll always have support, and we'll continue to train together and build on things together, and just continue to provide the best service we can for our community.
Great. Thank you so much. You have an awesome day.
Right.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. We appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. For over 31 years, Mountain Crisis Services has been assisting domestic violence and sexual assault survivors throughout Mariposa County. As you can imagine, we've had many survivors walk through our doors, seek services. Each survivor's story is different. And especially through this pandemic, a lot of our survivors have been feeling isolated. They've been dealing with a lot more emotions on top of the trauma that they may experience within the home. And so we really wanted to highlight a survivor story throughout this pandemic. And they were very gracious to give us their survivor story for us to read. So thank you for whoever you may be. And if you're watching, we appreciate you providing us the survivor story for us. I'm going to go ahead and read the survivor story so I don't get anything wrong. And let's get started. My survivor story is one that is very personal, and I have had to receive lots of help for. About 4 years ago, a person was living in my household. During that time, my health was not the best, and this person was there to support and help around the house as needed. Their duties included assistance with cleaning, household projects, and more. About 2 years in, this person was not holding up their end of the bargain and began to be verbally abusive towards me and my family members. I felt like I had to walk around on eggshells, and if asked, my abuser would refuse to assist with anything. Once confronted, the abuser became physical with me and other members within the home, and I knew I needed help. I felt very isolated and did not know where to turn, so I turned to Mountain Crisis Services for help. They assisted me with legal and counseling services. I ended up getting a restraining order against him. He moved out and was not allowed back on the property. My abuser was never arrested for any of the violence that he caused. He is currently far away, and I'm slowly recovering. Mountain Crisis Services has been a huge support, and I'm very grateful that they were able to help people like me within the county. This is just one survivor story. Like I said, we've had many that have come through. Each of them are different. But we want to let you know, even throughout this pandemic, we are still here to help anybody that goes through domestic violence and sexual assault. We have advocates on call 24/7. We have our hotline that is open for anyone that is needing to talk or is needing services right away. We want to let you know that you're not alone. We believe you, and that we're always going to be here to support you.
I would like to personally thank you all for attending our fundraiser, A Whole New World. We were hoping to have an in-person fundraiser this year, but with the rising numbers in our community, we decided as a team that we would host virtually again this year, as safety is an important value upheld by the Alliance. These past 18 months have been challenging, but we also have a lot to be thankful for during this time. One thing that I am most proud of is that during the pandemic, we continue to provide crucial support to survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. Our 24-hour hotline was managed by Mountain Crisis Services advocates and very dedicated volunteers. Mountain Crisis Services advocates were available to respond, to assist, and support survivors. Mountain Crisis Services staff is an amazing, dedicated group of individuals, and for that, I would like to thank them all for the work that they do daily in supporting survivors. I would like to share a few statistics from October 2020 to June 2021. So Mountain Crisis Services answered 49 hotline calls. We assisted and provided support to 98 survivors. We housed 29 individuals, which included women, men, and children, at our safe house. And we assisted 65 survivors with restraining orders. As you can see, Mountain Crisis Services advocates continued to serve the community's needs during this pandemic. No matter the obstacles that are put before us, we will continue to educate the community, empower survivors, and keep pursuing our goal to end domestic violence and sexual assault. Your support goes far in helping us to achieve these goals. Thank you for attending our event.